There's an extra special edition of the news, because the few bits before the actual news stuff that didn't make it into the newspapers, and you'll know why. But one part of it that did make it in, and I'm just adding bits to it that they're not going to tell you about. So it's Thursday, the 16th of August 2018. Now, I watched a video last night called Europa, The Last Battle, as you can see. Now, I challenge anyone to watch this video, 1 hour 15 minutes long, watch it all the way through, and you'll find out what and who the evil that we are fighting and defeating really are, and what they've done in the past. This carries on, it has further parts added to it. I've not watched the rest yet. I'm planning on watching one a night. The only one part that I haven't been able to find is part 4. So if any of you find part 4, send me a link, drop it in the comments or whatever, because absolutely mind-blowing what they tell you about this. And this is why you need to know who the enemy really is. Strongly suggest you watch that. Watch that and then give me some comments. Another bit that didn't quite make it into the main news. Former Carillion boss takes reins of UK's HS2 project. Former Carillion boss Mark Davis has been appointed as the managing director for the HS2 joint venture between Balfour Beatty and Vinci. The project is one of the world's largest construction projects, with billions of pounds worth of contractors put up for the first phase between West Midlands and London. Davis joined the Carillion in 2008 and rose to managing director of its UK infrastructure business until the firm went bust in January 2018. The liquidation cost hundreds of jobs and was the most drastic procedure in UK insolvency law, with liabilities of almost 7 billion. But when you're one of them, you know, you're with the secret handshake brigade that like raping children, then you get moved from one job, even though you've cost the company and this country £7 billion. You just get pushed on into another job and get made top boss of that, because we look after our paedophile, corrupt criminals in the UK. This didn't make it into the news as such in the main headlines, but it's on the internet. West Midlands police officer charged with possessing indecent images of children. Inspector Lee Bartram, who works for West Midlands Police, is charged after being arrested at his home address on Monday. A police officer has been charged with the possession of indecent images of children. Lee Bartram, who works for West Midlands Police, was arrested on Monday at his home address and charged on Wednesday evening. The police are full of child raping paedophiles. That's why they have a paedophile protection unit and not a children's protection unit. And he's an inspector. It goes all the way to the top, like Nottingham Chief Constable, a paedophile protector. 10 years or so ago, he kept blocking an investigation into a musician who was a well-known paedophile. After he left his position, or it may have been just before, the guy got caught and is now doing a long jail term for his paedophilia. Nottinghamshire Police Chief Constable is at the very least a paedophile protector, and at the very worst, you know. Now, you remember me saying a while ago about the the video out there that I'll be surprised if it ever comes out, the Hillary Clinton video? Well, a picture has emerged. As you can see, Hillary Clinton cut this little girl's face off. If you don't believe it, how did her face get mutilated then? A dog? Below is the statement from NYPD after viewing this video, and below that is the Department of Justice Inspector General report admitting there were crimes against children. What's in the email is staggering, and as a father, it turned my stomach. The NYPD chief said, there is not going to be any Houdini-like escape from what we found. We have copies of everything. We will ship them to WikiLeaks, or I will personally hold my own press conference if it comes to that. NYPD chief. I did warn you that this stuff was going to come out eventually, and now you can see for yourself the sort of sick, depraved, paedophile scum that we've had running this planet for hundreds, if not thousands of years. I'm sure you'll be glad to now get back to the normality of the crazy world that we live in anyway. We'll start with the Daily Fail. As property sales fall across UK, are house prices set to take a tumble? Of course they are. They've been planning this and plotting this for 20 or 30 years. They plotted the 2008 crash. They're plotting the 2018 crash, which is upon us right now, to distract from what they've been up to. Like, I'm not going to go down that route just yet. Rugby ace Capriati held after assault on police officer. You see, that the problem you've got with these sports men and women is they think they're untouchable. They think they're like MPs who are about to find out that they're not untouchable either, just like Hillary Clinton is about to find and spend a long time in Gitmo. Overpaid asswipes, that's all they are. Because they can throw or kick a ball or run or whatever, they think they're above everyone else, when in actual fact they're just used as cheap entertainment, although it's not cheap the amount they get paid. Now, over the past few days even, there's been talks about, do you need 8 hours sleep? And here we have one at the top of The Guardian. Is a good night's sleep the answer to loneliness? They're putting this sort of shit out there because they know there's 5G and all the other, like 4G, all the other shit they've been doing is interfering with our sleep patterns, and they want us to think it's normal to not have a good night's sleep, even though if you don't get sleep, it will drive you crazy. It will send you insane. That is part of their plan. You need a Faraday cage around you if you want a good night's sleep. BBC faces bill for millions after dropping Cliff Richard appeal. All pre-planned, so that they can come out with a law that says, oh, we've got to keep these suspects secret in future. We can't get their names out there, and then of course it'll just get brushed under the carpet. And because at the head of the police are a group of satanic paedophiles protecting other satanic paedophiles like Cliff Richards. Or Harry Webb, should we say. And let's continue with the fake flag bullshit. Westminster suspect was thrown out of university. Well, that's a reason to drive your car around London at 20 miles an hour and bump into a fence, isn't it? New Zealand acts to ban overseas homeowners. This is because all the rich are heading to New Zealand to buy property because they believe that is the only country on the planet that's going to survive what they've got planned for the rest of us. The Times. Universities scramble to fill places as applications hit record low. Well, that's because they don't get taught anything in universities apart from how to be a good slave. And if they're lucky, they might get a better job with a little bit more. It's that carrot and stick job. You be a good slave, you get this wage increase at the end. Stop falling for the money. The money is the control system. Italy blames Brussels and big business for tragedy. State of emergency as bridge death toll rises. And as was pointed out in yesterday's UK column, if you look at the pictures, you can see at the right angle, you can see the other bridge behind it, the other parts of the bridge have been reinforced, but the part that collapsed hadn't been. Did they know there was a problem and did nothing because it would cost more money, because it's now in private hands? Of course they did. So the head of the corporation that owns that bridge wants going to court, going to prison for manslaughter. RBS admits failure. The state-controlled Royal Bank of Scotland has been forced to put up posters in all its branches revealing that it is bottom of the league table for customer service. Again, this is by design, because what's going to happen now? The price drop, and then the government's going to sell it back to the bankers. We bought it for a big price dropped through the floor, we're going to sell it really dirt cheap, like Gordon Brown did with the gold when he was Prime Minister, or Prime Monster, as the case would be more correctly termed. It's exactly what he did, because they're all in it together. Blindness reversed. Scientists in the US have reversed blindness in mice by reprogramming eyes to regain healing abilities. Interesting. Of course, it'll take 20 years to be released to the general public. Yeah, you know the game. You know how it goes. Terror suspects past. The man accused of the false flag hoax fake attack in Westminster on Tuesday is originally from Sudan. Priests avoid trial. Prosecution in the US state of Pennsylvania has said that a time limit on child sex abuse cases meant that only 2 of 300 priests accused of the crime had faced justice. It's the same in every country. Paedophiles control it from the top down. So if you're just thinking of the UK, from May down, from France, Macron down, from Germany, Hitler's daughter down. Sterling takes a hit. The pound has endured its longest losing streak against the dollar. By design, they're crashing the pound, ready for the financial crash that is already started. Cipriani Charles. Yeah, like we've talked about that. I don't need to talk about it again, do I? Star. Celeb BB Beauty, I am Beast. So TV is the main headlines for the Star. Let's see if there's anything else that's in, Oh. Star solves wasp crisis. Full pest control kit inside. It's giving you a little thing that you can go around twatting them with. Sport cleared Ben the Truth. This was all in yesterday's papers as well, so why it's in this one I don't know. And safety nuts try to shut TV's iconic open all hours shop. It's PC gone mad. PC is a form of control. It's control of speech. It's killing free speech, along with all the other bullshit that come along, like you can only use these transgender words. A man's a man, a woman's a woman, a girl's a girl, a boy's a boy, a paedophile's a paedophile, whether it be man, woman. Express. Sisters beg speedboat killer, give yourself up. British family bridge terror. And as I said about this bridge in the last one, this is a perfect example. You can see, I'll just read the headline first, shall I? We just ran for our lives. If you look at the actual bridge, the bridge part, right? You see how the bridge that's collapsed in front has got, and then if you look at the bridge behind it, you see how it's got like blocks all the way round reinforcing it. So they knew there was a problem, but they didn't reinforce the part of the bridge that collapsed. That should be not just manslaughter, that should be murder by the owner, CEO. Mirror, My Miracle Bridge Escape, the extraordinary row behind Johnny Depp and Amber split. I've got no sympathy for Johnny Depp because he is one of them. He sold his soul, and he'll openly admit it. He's been on one of these American TV shows where they've been talking about his Pirates of the Caribbean, and he admits he never watches the film because it's not him acting in it. A demon, an entity, whatever you want to call it, that he sold his soul to, takes over his body and does all the acting. That's why he won't refuse to watch any films he's in, because at the end of the day, he can't act by himself. Megan should look after me, but I haven't had a penny. Dad says his children need to help him in his retirement. Royal rift grows. Now this unfortunately makes it look like he's just a gold digger, but you know, if you married into one of the richest paedophile families in the world, you should at least look after your family. But then again, they only care about themselves. That's why they carry on the way they do. Mistakes are part of the adventure of language to all intensive purposes. A car full of holiday bags and beach toys. Tribute to victims of Italian bridge catastrophe. BBC accepts defeat in Cliff Richard legal battle. Of course they did. They knew that was going to happen right from the word go, because that's how it was planned to happen. The myth of negative calorie food. My life as a hoarder. Those without pushy parents get left behind. Unis offer 1,000 bribes to smart students. Cash bonus scholarships for teenagers with unconditional offers who don't slack off on their A-level subjects. Concern over rise of offers to get bums on seats in lecture halls. And I'm laughing at that because a bum in America is different to what that says there. 500,000 students pick up A-level results today. Right, so that's bribery, corruption, and it's unfair. But they're getting desperate because of what's going on. You're about to find what's going on, maybe. Telegraph. Capriati hit policeman after row in nightclub. Now, although he's a jumped up twat, he's bound to be a big-headed, overpaid twat. The way police handle themselves, it doesn't surprise me that they got hit. It takes a real calm head to keep you cool around the cops, because their job is to incite violence and lull you into something, to hitting them so they can then take your court, because it makes them money. That's what it's about, making them money. Corbyn needs to change, says Gordon Brown. Now, I'm not going to read that part there, but I've got something about Gordon Brown coming up. You'll be all very interested. EU fears Brexit talks are being bugged. Senior Brussels official claims spies were at work after Britain obtained sensitive files. Yeah, okay. US alarm over Russian space weapons. It's too late for that. Russia's way ahead of the US when it comes to military. I mean, by ahead, way more advanced, way more. They just don't go bragging it as much like the Yanks do, or using it to install tin pot dictators in the likes of Iraq and wherever else they're planning on destroying, like Syria. Sorry, Project Fear, we are not going to drop off a cliff. Alexa, do you understand Geordie? Well, if not, you ought to, because it's one of the smoothest languages. And like one of the comedians was talking, say you phone up a complaint centre, and you get a Geordie there, and they're the most soothing voices you can hear. That's why they have them. And oh, the bank took some money out of my account. They should have. Oh no, pet, that's terrible. Well, we'll see what we can do about it. Although it did sort of switch to Scottish sort of there, because yeah, no, so I can't do the accents that well. But I do the news really well, as you lot know. By the way, coming up after this, we're going to get down to some more nitty-gritty stuff like at the beginning. So if you missed it up to this point, you'd be sorry, it's your loss. Barely half marks needed for top A-level grade. Javid. May wrong on police pay. He's suddenly become an expert, even though he was the one that actually voted to keep the one of them that voted to keep Windrush hush hush. Now, here's a search subject for you. You can do it in any, in fact, do it in multiple search engines, you'll get better results. Gordon Brown rape 1980s, like that's what it says at the top line there. Gordon Brown accused of practicing paedophilia, page 1. Next one, Gordon Brown, ex-PM, alleged child rape Aberdeen, plus other VIPs. Gordon Brown, Uncyclopedia. Gordon Brown Whale. Former PM Gordon Brown calls for a probe, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Down the bottom two there, revealed British Premier Gordon Brown is a paedophile. And I've just picked a couple of these out. Here's one there, it's in that list. I think it was one of the top one, in fact. Gordon Brown accused of practicing paedophilia. And if we read the truthseeker.co.uk, quote, detailed examination of the extent to which senior and junior ministers close to Gordon Brown were given free licence to engage in paedophiliac activities under the protection of the British Intelligence Service. Operation OR, cover-up, and the 100-year blackout order imposed upon the report concerning the Dunblane massacre of children used and abused by senior Scottish Labour government ministers can still be found here, and it gives you links to them. But get it while you can, because it won't be there for long. They'll do the best to shut this down, because that's what they do. Rents.com revealed British Premier Gordon Brown is a paedophile. This is Michael James in Germany, February 2010. There's pictures. School children murdered at behest of British elite. That's the picture. In the early months of 2003, just prior to the illegal invasion of Iraq, and working in conjunction with a London-based freelance journalist who had thoroughly double-checked exposure published by the Scottish Sunday Herald newspaper, I published details of a child sex ring linked to senior ministers within the Blair government. I initially published my findings stemming from discreet leaks from a secret list provided by the American FBI to the Sunday Times newspaper, and commentary discovered that Tony Blair had issued a gagging order to suppress all further discussion of a scandal that would most certainly have brought a swift end to his administration and made Britain collusion in the destruction of Iraq impossible. And that's why they put a 100-year gagging order on it. Because Tony Blair is also a paedophile, but you already know that, because you know that he used to go around as a transgender in university, and he propositioned an undercover cop in a toilet before he became Prime Minister in 2007, but he got away with it because he used Charles Linton Blair instead of Anthony Charles Linton Blair. Check it out. Do it yourself. I'm not doing all the digging for you. You've got to do some yourself. It's out there. Metro. Holiday makers struggling to get Turkish lira. Genoa Bridge warning ignored for years. Taylor, my hell over sex assault. Brown, Corbyn has to change. What, into a paedophile like you? He's already a paedophile protector. Let's forget that he covered up paedophilia in his Kensington borough in the 80s. So, what do you want it to change into, Gordon? A full-on paedophile that's been exposed? Or just a cover-up paedophile that he is? Pels defend Westminster suspect. Celebrate Queen of Pop hits 60. So this has been 3 days running about her, because she's full on Illuminati and they're pushing her as the goddess of pop, when she's nothing more than, I would suspect, a paedophile herself. Rugby star Danny Coppersall, England international Saprini, proper English name there, due in court over alleged nightclub bust-up. That's because the way that Europe has destroyed the nation. And by the way, watching that stuff right at the beginning, the first stuff I talked about, you'll see so many similarities, what they did to Russia to what they're doing to Europe right now. Watch it, you'll be shocked. You will, I guarantee, be shocked. Unindependent. The law that could worsen democracy. Now, we wave goodbye to the crypto bro. Our counter-terror approach is wrong. Why I had to leave Oxford University. Madonna at 60, Queen of Queens who wasn't afraid to break silence of AIDS. No deal Brexit will rise risk of disease outbreaks. Doctors warn crashing out of EU makes pandemic more likely. Oh, get to... Does anyone believe that shit? Because we're no longer in Europe, we're separated from Europe, apart from letting the immigrants, not from Europe, they're from Africa, but they claim they're EU immigrants when they're actually African immigrants coming in to destroy the country and Europe, which they are doing a damn good job of, unless we deport them back to Africa immediately. Now, apparently, leaving Europe will cause a disease outbreak, pandemic style, the worst we've ever seen, the worst since the plague. Can we see the bollocks in this shit? Financial Times. Productivity levels are now as bad as we thought. Not as bad as we thought, yeah, okay. BP makes a comeback 8 years after the Deepwater disaster, which was a false flag, by the way. Australia's immigration debate heats up. India's PM in space pledge. We'll get to India. What about the poor? Oh, no. We'll get to India. We'll get to space. What about the poor? Oh, don't worry about the poor. We'll get to space. Spooked investors push emerging market stocks into bear territory. Currency turmoil fuels off sell-off. China tech results add to slump. Turkish lira rallies 5%. New Zealand property ban slams the door to wealthy foreign survivalists. Like I said, they're all moving there because they believe that'll be the only country that won't be destroyed by what they've got planned to come. But we can stop it if we start talking, stand up and start pushing back. Fantasy of mythology concern inflation boost. If we don't start pushing back, because they do something, but they do it as quickly as they can, trying to lead us to the dictatorship that we've already got in the UK. If you can't see it, you're not paying attention. They're pushing it bit by bit, but as fast as they can. If we don't do something about it and fight back, they will push it further, and we'll be into a full-on, in-your-face dictatorship, which we already are. You just haven't got the police on the streets yet, but I bet that's what this last false flags hoax attack was all about, is getting the armed police on the streets and tightening the grip of the dictatorship on us all. Unless we stand up and fight back, now may be your last chance.